Yet again, Lady May has to show you all why there is lady before her name. A mess. A mess. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Greenleaf. This is season 4, episode 8. As I said, Lady May shows you exactly why she is Lady May, and she really does run the Greenleaf crew. So, we're going to talk about it. But anyway, first things first. We look up, there's this stiff, bored-like Caucasian woman floating around in Grace's office talking mess. I said, who is this? Judy. It's Judy, Bob's daughter. She just pops up down to the church, and she told me she got this surprise she's rolling out. And as she gets to explaining, basically they have this plan to turn it into a mega church, with like a facility of mess attached. Restaurants, it's about 5 restaurants, a gym, a community center, a daycare, more parking. And this is what she's saying, they're buying up they bought up, it's done now. They bought up all the land around it so they can expand. Basically saying, we want all of our parishioners' money. Why should we allow them to go other places to spend their money when they can just spend it all here? They're greedy. They're greedy. And I don't think Grace actually even trusts that whole thing. But anyway, she goes on and she tells Grace, I'm here to make the presentation. Daddy's going to come down in 2 weeks and present it to the deacons board. And I'm just here ahead of time to just do some stuff. And then in 2 weeks when he gets here, he's going to present it to the deacons board and all of this. Or to the congregation, rather. But they're going to talk to the deacons board a little ahead of time. But they're going to roll it out to the congregation in 2 weeks. So Gigi, I don't think Gigi even believes all of that. I believe that there's more to it because that's just kind of the way Bob moves. They're shady. And there's some more to it. So there was a question immediately of where's this money coming from? They claim it's not going to cost the church anything. Even more of a mystery, okay? Full of surprises. So, of course, Gigi sits with Lady May and Bishop and tells them what's going on. They are going off. They're like pissed with the whole thing. They're like, So Lady May says, okay, well, listen, we got to get to the deacons board. We got to get to the deacons board and let them know the danger they're in because they're not the brightest. So we got to let them know that something ain't right with this and don't fall for this and sign over everything or let them move them out. We got to get to the deacons board. So she says, so I'm going to plan. She said, we need to plan a party or something to bring them all here to the mansion. And she said, I got it. I'm going to have an engagement party because I'm engaged. I'm getting remarried. An engagement party will definitely bring all the hens to the hen house. And then Connie, she said, to make certain that Connie comes, I'm not going to invite her. So she's ignorant. She's ignorant. And she would love nothing more than to crash. So we're not going to invite Connie. And she'll show up. I promise you she will. I fell out laughing. So Gigi's like, Mama, and she said, you know what? Whenever you're gone, who's going to actually talk like you? She said, no one, dear. No one. I said, oh, that damn May. Sure enough, like clockwork, the word starts to spread around. And didn't that Connie roll up on Corinne just as good? And later, I hear that there's invitations going around to a party up at the the Greenleaf estate, this, that, thing, and the other. And Corinne was like, oh, she said, I trust that my invitation has fallen into like a junk folder or something. So if you could take care of this, she goes, how about I just put you down as you're coming? I'll just RSVP you. And she will say, oh, yes, that's even better, dear. Thank you. And walked away. And Corinne will look at her watch and say, wow, down to the baby, listen. Her name is Lady May for a specific reason. She runs shit. Period. Period. I just fell out laughing. And that Connie's sharp now. You can see, and I think that's purposely done. That how you're seeing Connie's so-called glow up, honey. Connie's sharp now. Connie's super sharp, and her hair just be so sharp now. Because if you go back to previous seasons, Connie just looked like a church woman. She did. She just looked like a church woman. Now she is starting to look on not all the way to May's level, but she's getting there. You could tell there's more money behind her because she got a lump sum, and she don't even know that May and them know that she got a lump sum when this merger took place. She's a snake, and she's all about a coin. So we know for a fact, whatever Harmony and Hope wants to do, Connie's going to be on board because Connie is in bed with the enemy. Connie and Phil are Harmony and Hope, flat out. There's them, and then there's 6 board members that are for the church. But Connie and Phil, Harmony and Hope. And then we got Gigi, who is on the side of the church. Anyway, okay, so let me go because I done moved ahead. Let me go back. So Jacob and Carissa, that Carissa, honey, her new man that told her she need to figure out what the plan is for the mansion when Bishop dies and May dies. So she's questioning Jacob, basically grooming him about it and carrying on because the whole thing, the house that they bid on, they didn't even get the house. She just slept with Fernando. Well, she wanted to do that anyway. She's screwing Fernando now. She didn't put the money up, and they didn't even get the house. There was a cash offer made that went over theirs, and they didn't even get the house. So now they right back at square one, face cracked. And she's still trying to figure out some more money, get some more money to go. And because that was such a deal. She needed more money to get what she wants and get out of there. So she's asking him, who's the house going to go to? And says, well, she said, do you think it'll be like given to you, Charity, and Grace? And maybe Grace and Charity could just buy us out if that's the case. You need to figure it out. And he's like, I don't even care. Like, I don't even care. She's like, could you find it out? And she's like guilt tripping him into it. And I'm like, Jacob, are you not listening? Are you not listening? Like, those are strange questions. Like, who even does all that? My mother's not sick. My dad is not. Well, I mean, he actually has some ailments, but he ain't knocking on death's door. So, like, why are you burning bread on my parents? That would be my question. She would be knocking on the door to get the hell on out of there is what she would be doing, but whatever. So then he asked her, I have a question for you, though. Why were you at Fernando's office? Gigi seen you there. And she said, about cufflinks. That's the oldest bitch. She come up with the lie just like vicious. Anybody who could just come up with a lie just off the top of their head, they need to be watched. She is a vicious liar. She came up with that lie, baby, and then whipped it around, honey, and did the Jedi mind trick on him. And was saying, who are you, Jacob, to be questioning me about what I'm doing and where I've been? Where were you with the white girl? And where were you with Tasha Skanks? All the nights that I laid. I said, no, she didn't. Just turn this around on him. And good old goofy Jacob is sitting over there like, how was it saying all that? Yes, you were saying all that. And yes, you were questioning me. And how dare you? I said, oh, Lordy. One day you people are going to realize what discernment is all about. Jacob, you're questioning her because you feel like something is going on. You feel, feel like something is going on. And you know when you get those feelings? Something's going on, stupid. Whatever. But she worked that Jedi mind trick on him and then rolled on out the room real fast and got him in such a stink. He then went and seen what's the little boy's name? Dante. He went to see Dante to try to get Dante. They want Dante to do an apology, which he refuses to do. So he was saying, I think it was Shaquille O'Neal who did it, but purchased a school, like he funded a school and it gave him like all these kudos with the people. And he's like, why don't you do something like that? And he's like, okay, so give some money to the school. And he's like, well, what school? And he's like, any school that you want. And so he's like suggesting Carissa's school. He's like, isn't that your wife's school? Dante went right on off on Jacob. I said, there you go. Blew it right in your face. He said, I thought you was different. You ain't no different. You just like everybody else. Always in my pocket. Always on some fuck shit. I ain't got you to do. And he dismissed Jacob. And Jacob was looking stupid yet again. He's like, no, that's not it. I was just trying to get back in good with the wife. First of all, you don't need to get back in good with the wife because the wife is a tramp. She is a tramp. And she's running around lap dancing on Latin pain, honey. And you run around trying to make an apology for her. There is no apology for her. She owes you the apology. She's the one with foreign substances rolling around in her box, not you this time. But whatever, stupid. Anyway, moving on. So then we see Judy and Phil having a conversation. So Judy's kind of telling Phil what's going on, and he's fussing at her saying, well, I would have appreciated if I would have been told this information before Grace. I don't even know, like, who's Grace to have the information before me? And she kept telling him, you know that you're appreciated. You do know that, right? I said, wait a minute. Come again? So I said, something, ain't nothing slow about me, especially when it comes to body language. Something going on here. Little thin, rail white woman, cute little black man, all mixed and intertwined up in the family playing fool, honey. So I got one of these good eyes on good old Phil. I said, something ain't right. Anyway, so we move on. Bishop and Charity get to talking. And, it's all come out, everything about them and everything like that. And Charity and Bishop's talking, and he's giving her the blues about Phil, telling her, Charity, you just, girl, you're useless. You laying in bed with the ops for the most part. And she's like, I love him, and this, that, and the other. And Bishop was like, Charity. And she's like, just give him a chance, Daddy. This, that, thing, and the other. He says, listen. This is just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's so funny because before that, why is May and Grace are bonding at this point? There's a bonding that's taking place between Grace and Lady May. And it's really the fault of Lady May. Because Lady May has always been jealous of Gigi. Gigi seems to have it all together. And now that it's coming out that Gigi has faults, Grace is more comfortable. And Grace is they're starting to bond because now she's letting that guard down that she had, where she was so jealous of Gigi because Gigi was like a rose that was completely perfect. And she's a whole mess, really, and her shit's just coming out more and more. But now they're bonding. And I said, it's terrible that it has to be this way. The stuff with the illegitimate child and then this lie to the police, and then she done murdered the uncle, and all of this had to go down before you would bond with your child because you were so hell-bent and jealous of her. You know, she got it all. She thought she had it all. She actually has the calling. You know, she ain't got all that bullshit going on. She has the looks. She has the youth. She had everything. Gigi was everything that May wants to be, and May is pretending to be and has made herself out to be and has sold this image. She's for years she's sold this image to people where that was just Gigi's image just naturally, just jealous. Pure green with envy all in her heart of her own daughter. But now she's not being as envious because she's seeing Gigi's not perfect. Gigi got a whole bunch of bullshit with her too, you know. So they're bonding, and she was talking to her about Charity, and I was like, she was eating Charity up. She was like, I don't know what's wrong with her. I think it's my fault. I failed her. Child is just useless. So she just keeps, like, she goes and just tries to find the wrong men to fall in love with, and she just loves to bring drama to herself. She's just useless. I was like, oh no. She ate Charity up. And she was like, Mama, no. She's like, things that Charity do have nothing to do with you. It's not your fault. She says, well, thank you for saying that. She's just useless. I was like, oh. And truly, Charity, when it comes to decision making, Charity is more like Bishop. She's a fuck up. And Bishop's a fuck up. When it comes Bishop and his libido, Bishop, that dick gets Bishop in all kind of trouble. He done fucked Mavis. He done messed around there, ran over there with Rochelle Cross. Bishop's ding dong gets him into a lot of trouble, just like Charity is old loose puss. She always in love with something that ain't in love with her back. But Bishop, at least Mavis was in love with Bishop. Bishop is about a dollar bill. His love of greed and power is why he dogged Mavis and ended up married. See, I'm going back on. Well, there's for some of y'all who ain't watched from the beginning, you need this stuff. But he screwed Mavis over. And I can't wait till Mavis come back into the show. Like, Oprah, where you at, baby? But yeah, Bishop don't make the best decisions when it comes to relationships and people. And Charity is truly his child. Truly his child. A mess. A mess. Anyway, so that went on. But she goes through all of that, and she says, if you could keep a secret, Daddy, I'll tell you. Everything Bob Whitfield is Phil. Phil writes all the sermon. Phil wrote the books. He said he's a good man, Daddy. He's in there and he wants to work hard. He said, yeah, he's a hard worker, but he's also stupid. She got so mad. I said, oh. He said, go on and invite him, stupid ass, to the engagement party. Go on and invite him, and I'll talk to him. I'll give him a chance, but no better chance than anybody else trying to get over on my daughter. He's not trying to get over on me. And they did actually, you know, when it all came out, Bishop basically said Gigi and, you know, like it said like Gigi and Jacob told, but it was really Jacob that actually told. And Lady May went off. She was so mad. But it was really Jacob that told. It wasn't Gigi. But now you got old girl running around. She's mad at Gigi and Jacob, but more so at Gigi. Charity hates Gigi. She's like she's very envious of Gigi. She used to love Gigi, but the envy has now rolled into a hate. She hates Gigi, and she like wants to take her down. And it's like this just was like icing on the cake. But anyway, okay, because we're going. It's like 19 minutes. Okay, well you know I don't care about the time when I get done on Greenleaf. I don't really care. So I'm just gonna keep on talking. Y'all keep on watching. Okay, keep watching. Anyway, so all of that went down. So now we go. Carissa goes. Zora's actually putting together some little flash, little PowerPoint presentation to play during the engagement party of the grandparents. So Carissa come through Talking about what a lie. I lied. She just walk around that mansion just lying and conniving and scheming a heifer. She would go around there and tell him she needs their marriage certificate. And he's like, oh, it's in my safe. And she's grooming him now because he's a goofball. And he's like, oh, yeah, all the important papers is in that safe, this, that, and the other. And he told her, okay, just stay here. She said, oh, no, Bishop, I'm not doing anything. I'll walk up with you. So she walks with him, and they go, and she's opening the safe. She's trying to crack it, get the code while he's doing it. She just talking to him. He just goofy, just talking. Talking about the wheel and all this. Oh, you keep all your stuff in there. He told her I used to keep my wheel and stuff downtown, but since I got replaced by the church, there's no need for me to go all the way down there for my important papers. I keep everything in here. You and Jacob could put your important papers in there too. Let me see if I can remember this code. You know how old people do. He's just going through all that. He opens it up, gets it out. She's like, oh, all your papers is in there. So it's like a whole big envelope with all their stuff in there. He gives her the marriage certificate, closes the lock back up. They get ready to leave out, and in the door walks Lady May, and she's like, oh, what's going on here? You know, her and Carissa ain't speaking. She ain't got her to do. And she's like, oh, she needed the marriage certificate, this, that, the other. And May was looking like, does she? I said, May, now I got this eye on Judy. And Phil, you need to get your eye over there on Carissa, because I can't do both. So I was laughing at May. May was looking like, bitch. I said, girl, watch her, because she's really trying to get y'all, honey. So that was that. She went on about her way. Now, y'all know that old Nikki that moved in down there with Zora. And also, Sophia's back. Sophia didn't come in for the party and all of that. I'm like, okay, so here she come. So we see right away, Sophia done got a little jealous of the relationship between Zora and Nikki, because she basically has replaced her. And, you know, Zora's a bitch. So Zora is just like acting like Sophia don't even exist. And she knows what she's doing. She's doing it on purpose. She even mentioned AJ to her, talking about her brother, this, that. She just a bitch. She's just a bitch. And I said, ooh, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. But Sophia's just like, So anyway, let's go talk about Charity and Phil. So Charity goes and she invites Phil, and he's like, your family knows about us, and they're okay with that. And he's just going on. But in this conversation they had, he basically says, you know, you won't let me use the tape to take Grace down. And stuff is happening that I don't know nothing about. I'm not liking this. And he's worried. You can tell he's worried. He's like, I don't know when this whole thing is done that I'm going to just end up with just a girlfriend. And she's like, really? Like, if I'm not going to be enough for you, then you could just let me go. And he's like, I didn't mean it like that. Yeah, bitch, he meant it just like that, because you ain't shit. Stupid. And you throwing your whole family out there trying to get, say, he ain't even gave you no ding dong yet. Stupid. You stupid. Oh my God. I can't. He's totally shaking your purse without even really opening the clutch at it. And you are just an idiot. But anyway, so he agrees to go to the party and all that. Then Judy take her old frail ass up there. She push up on Grace. Grace, I'm hearing all this stuff going around a buzz about a party. Why didn't I know about it? Bitch, why should you know about it? Who are you? You're not friends of ours. She said, my parents are engaged and they're having an engagement party. And she said, well, why didn't I get an invite? Because you're not our friend, bitch. So she's like, did you tell your parents about our plans? Grace was like, yes. I was like, oh, Grace, why didn't you just say no? But she said yes. And she said, oh, so you don't think that this is a ploy just to get, for them to try to talk the board against what's going on? And she's like, no, it's an engagement party. It don't have nothing to do with you and nothing to do with what you're talking about. It's an engagement party. Well, why don't you invite me? Grace, being Grace, she told her, she said, sure, you can come as my +1. I laughed. And she's like, oh, well, I'm so excited. And Grace will say, when she walked out the door, Grace said, well, that makes one of us. I said, oh. I fell out. I said, okay, Grace. I said, I would have invited that whore nowhere here. I told her to get on out of here. I didn't about my business. But she invited her. I said, well, good. So you can get your face cracked in person because Lady Mae's running that party. You're going to get your face cracked in person. I promise you, you are. So she go and twist her old bony ass on off. So then we see the meeting going down. Okay, so she explains everything, and then Judy's up there. She's explaining everything. The board's all sitting there. Connie all excited. Phil all excited. Grace sitting at the head of the table, like, and the 6 board members are sitting there, look like bumps on a log, like they don't know half of what's going on, waiting on Connie to tell them what they're going to do, as usual. So they're like, she says, we don't need anything from the church. The church is not going to be charged anything. We're going, Harmony and Hope is going to put the money in, this, that, thing. And they said, well, what is it that you want in return? So she says, well, we want seats, a few seats on the board. And they're like, she's like, what do you mean? She said, well, the church is going to get bigger. And this church is going to grow. It's going to get huge. So we want you to add more seats to the board. And then, we bring in 12. And they said, well, who do you think is leaving of the 6 of us that are here? She says, no. Because she said, we want 50% of the seating on the board. And she's like, who do you think is leaving? She's like, no. You are going to add 6, which would bring you to 12. And then we're going to bring 12 in. And then it'll be 50-50. I said, that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. You bringing in 12 professional vultures to go against these 12 chickens and Connie. I don't think so. I said, don't do it, y'all. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. So, listen. I said, all right, whatever. So they go to talking about it. They go out. Phil's like, this is great. Judy's like, it's great. And Phil said, well, they should just give us full reign of the board. If the Harmony and Hope's going to do all this for everybody. And Grace was like, they would never do that. I wouldn't even let them. And Judy said, well, whose side are you on, Grace? She said, I'm on the Lord's side. I said, okay. So how about that, Judy, bitch? I'm hating this Judy, her old frail ass. Anyway, she goes, she looked like a little skeleton. I said, ugh, she's horrible. Anyway, so let's go to the party. So first thing at the party, Charity and Grace have a little run-in. And Charity get to reading Grace yet again, tell her about her son and the lie she told, and said, she says, I don't know why you think you so much. You're the one. They think you're the golden child and you got it all going on, but you're the one with the illegitimate son that's running from the police, and you done lied to the police, and I didn't tell you that, so I don't know why everybody's acting like they can't trust me and trust my judgment, and y'all running and telling people everything and being shady. Y'all ran right to daddy and mommy and this, that. Oh, she was just going on and on. I said, look at her. Look at her. She said, you really think you're something, Miss Grace, don't you? But you're not. Your day's coming. And went and walked away. I said, oh, a whole mess. I said, Grace better be. I'd have been smack Charity. Charity is a whole bit too much. She's definitely the sibling that you need to punch in the top of the head to slow him down, because she's just doing too much. Anyway, so then Bishop had his little talk with Phil. And of course, he ain't feeling it. He's like, he's a damn shyster. And he's like, He told May, May's making her rounds, baby, to all the members, telling, saying, no, that don't sound right. Do it to you? Does that sound right to you? I don't know about all that. She's knocking them off one by one, okay? Rolling around. I said, okay. So then Sophia is up there, and the one little lady that used to be the little purse for the church the one day got all the money, wanted to hit the lottery and all that. She didn't remember who Sophia was. She thought Nikki was Sophia. And Sophia got so upset. She got so upset at the fact that the woman had just didn't even know who she was. But you're the one who literally stopped going to church, remember, because you stopped believing in God after everything that happened. You were questioning your spirituality and you stopped going to the church. You stopped working with the church folks. You stopped seeing them and they forgot about you, child. And she left and went on down to the cottage by herself and left the party. I'm going to get to that in a minute. So anyway, May goes to do this speech. Like, speech, and they gathered everybody up in the room. And Carissa made her exit. And Jake was like, "Where are you going?" She said, "I will be back." He said, "Where are you going?" She said, "I'm going to call Fernando." I said, so he backed right up off her. I said, "You are so stupid." She goes to go look in the safe. She go in there, she pops the lock, baby, and gets in there. And May got you, bitch. She opened that safe, baby. That safe was bone dry. She was so she was so angry. I was so tickled. She was pissed. I was like, "That's what you get, you old bitch. Get out of there." I wanted them to catch her so they could throw her out of the house. That would have been fabulous. Oh, that would have been fabulous if they would have caught her and had security remove her from the house right in the middle of the party. That would have been fabulous. But anyway, they didn't catch her, but they cracked her face. Her face was cracked in a million little pieces on that rug in that room. I said, "That's what you get, Annie. Trying to get to his will and read it. Get on out of here." Anyway, so they go down there. May is just basically preaching a sermon. And it was so funny. When she wrapped it around, baby, I said, "Oh, May, give it to him." Came back and told them, "Let me tell y'all something. I don't care if it's a relationship, a business deal, or whatever it is. You don't trust nobody that offers you 50-50 of anything, because 50-50 doesn't leave any room for God to come in." She said, "This marriage we get ready to have, it was all, see, we was messed up before, but we got it back together." Said, "See, because this marriage is not going to be 50-50. Not at all. It's going to be whatever God makes it be. It can't be 50-50 because 50 would be me and 50 would be the bishop. That leaves no room for God. So no, anybody who offers you anything 50-50, you just say no." Baby, when I tell you that Judy could have crawled up underneath the piano, she was so mad. She was so mad, and the people was just cheering. They got it. They got it because they slow. They listen. Connie leads them, and before Connie was leading them, May and Bishop was leading them. That board of deacons is just useless. You hear me? But they got it. You just say no. But right before that, Phil had left Charity's side and went over because he said, "Judy's standing there by herself. Let me go over and make sure she's okay because she's just looking kind of out of place." So when everybody was gathered together, he over there standing with Judy. And Charity standing over there like, "Yeah, stupid. He's not your man, dummy." But anyway, so we see Judy getting ready to leave. She's waiting for the valet to bring her car, and her and Phil get to talking, and yeah, I was right. There's some shade. Hey, they going back and forth, and she done got drunk at this point. She's drunk. Judy pissed off and drunk. And she's like going on, and she's like, "This is just a mess. This is a whole mess." And he's like, "Well, if you would have let me know what was going on, Judy, then I could have gotten ahead of this, beforehand." And she said, "I didn't know about this until 2 days ago." And she's like, "I don't know what Daddy's doing. You know that. I have no idea. He'll be here," and she's like, "He'll fix it. It's just a mess. I'll get it. This is a mess." So she's sitting there, and then she says to Phil, "And I see you're fraternizing with the locals." I said, "Oh." And then he said, "She's nice. She's a nice lady. This, that, thing, that. She'll say, oh, so you got feelings for her the same way like you did for me? I said, oh. She said, oh, that's right. We don't talk about that. I said, oh, Phil, you used to bone Judy. A mess. A whole mess. You are a real snake. So then she says, this is just a horrible night. She up there crying. She literally was crying. She had like tears all in her eyes and she was upset. She went and drunk. And she said, yeah, and told him her husband had to file for divorce against her. She's like, but I know you don't care. And he's like, are you all right to drive? She's like, I'm fine. I said, you drunken old whore. Get on out of here. I thought at that point, I said, something's getting ready to happen. She's getting ready to get into a car accident or something. And that would have been fine for Judy. Anyway, while all of this is going on, while all of this was going on, down at the cottage, Sophia laying on the bed watching TV. And somebody's coming in there. She's calling. She's like, Zora, Nikki, Zora. Neither one of them. Here, it's Dante. Dante's bringing the rest of Nikki's stuff. And he said, I thought everybody would be at the party. I was just going to drop it off. I didn't even want to run into them. She's like, oh, so you're Dante. And they get to talking. And I'm looking at the two of them. And I ain't really paid Dante too much attention before. And this whole time, I ain't really paid him too much mind. And he's talking to Sophia, and they introduced themselves, and she's like, so you and Nikki are really done for real? He's like, yeah, we're done, this, that, and the other. And then the next thing I know, he's asking her questions, and she over there looking. I said, oh, here we go. Here we go. Miss Nikki, you thought you was being cute when you acted like you, because Nikki was very shady with Sophia, like she's like, who is she? And Zora, you thought you was being cute with Sophia. Well, looks like Sophia got Dante. Oh, baby, when I tell you the shit is going to be on, because remember, Nikki got dumped by Dante, and originally Zora wanted Dante. Sophia got Dante. He said, you want to go for a ride? She said, where? He said, wherever. Sometimes it's just good to ride. I said, go ride, Sophia. And when you get done, ride him. Run along now. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Sophia, because Dante is not that bad of a kid, I don't think. I don't think he's that bad of a person at all. And like he said earlier, he was ready to sit down and actually pray with Jacob, but Jacob was trying to do him, and he was like, Sophia and Dante merging together might get Sophia back on track and bring him right on into the fold. He'll be a perfect pair up for Sophia. And Sophia, she's so damn miserable. She deserves to have something nice. And I think Dante is it. I'm here for it. I am completely here for it. But now that other little guy that she was dating before, his little feeling's gonna be hurt. But that's okay. Dante got his own money, so he ain't got to try to get at the family's money or none of that. None of that. I'm here for it. I was just as tickled. I said, oh, Sophia got Dante. Y'all got hors d'oeuvres, but Sophia got Dante. Anyway, moving on. And you think Nikki thinks she's slick anyway. She's so busy trying to lick Zora's box, and Zora dumb. She gonna let her do it. Anyway, so the next day, that old bishop told Charity, listen, I don't like him all like that, but whatever. You like him, that's fine. Just do me this favor. Hold up on what you're doing with Phil until after Grace becomes head pastor at that church and gets everything the church is back. Stick through with the plan. Just hold off on what it is you're doing with Phil. It's cool. Just hold off until then. I said, that's a whole lot to ask, Bishop. But it wasn't a good idea because Charity ended up that next day running straight to Phil and told him, listen, you still got the tapes? Use them. Take her down. It's time for her to get her just desserts. Take her down. Do it. Hurry up and do it. I don't care. Email them, send them, mail them, do whatever it is you need to do before I change my mind. Just do it. I said, oh, you bitch. You're the next one. You and Carissa both need to be drugged to the front door of the mansion and thrown out onto the porch and then escorted away off the grounds by the police. Just ridiculous. Anyway, last thing. Judy goes and sees Grace and gets to telling Grace. She's, yeah, that little performance. Oh, wait a minute. Before I even get to that, let's go back. Connie. At the end of the party, Connie had the nerve to approach May and tell her, so I guess you think you did something. You really need to win an award for acting. Because, see, I heard about how you went down and talked to the women's board. And you did a performance for them. And now this performance tonight, you're a whole piece of work, May. And she says, so what do you say? She says, oh, all that about you being abused by your father and all. I said, oh, Connie. She said, girl, all that acting. She says, you think I would make up a story about being molested by my father to try to win over some women's board? Are you serious, Connie? She said, I don't trust you, May. And she said, listen, May said, she walked to the door and opened the door and told Connie, go with God. I said, oh, listen, that damn May. I said, I think that literally cut deeper than saying to her, go to hell, bitch. Because that's what she meant. That is exactly what she meant. Get the fuck out. You told her, go with God. Had to open that door up, and Connie was like, lovely party. She said, good old. Anyway, so now let's go back to the end. This is the last thing. So Judy approaches Grace. Talk about that performance last night and your mom and all of that stuff. She says, well, listen. Everything is what it should be. It's really beneficial for this church. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. She said, oh, you are so full of secrets and so full of surprises. She said, everything is going to be ran by you, Grace. I don't know why, but Daddy has actually put it in there, and nobody knows this except for me. And now you. Phil doesn't even know it. You'll be the one running everything. But only if you can secure us their seats. And Grace is just sitting there like, more surprises. Listen, I said, oh my, this is a mess. But see, Grace don't really care. Grace got money. And she pressed about, she wants the church, her family to take the church over. She's not so in it to try to be, this head pastor thing running. She don't want to be a part of Harmony and Hope. She wants to work Harmony and Hope out of the whole thing and get the church back over to the Greenleafs. So they ain't gonna sway Grace with this. I was like, oh, the games you all play, honey. A mess. Anyway, I done talked way too long now at this point. It's like 43 minutes. I done talked as long as the damn show. Anyway, I'm gone. I'm out of here. But this was an excellent, excellent episode. It really, really was. Excellent episode. Y'all did y'all thing on this one. All right, I'll catch y'all next week. I'm gone.